Hello students, welcome to year 12B's discussion of notes. Since we didn't have any time to discuss for the next two journals, or the next two registers, I'll just quickly go over the first one, which is the language of journalism or newspaper reporting. The reason why I'm going through this because it was in your first worksheet for week 1 and 2, so we will discuss what is language of journalism or newspaper reporting. Firstly, this variety is used for the world of mass media, newspaper, magazines, radio, television. Specifically for this register, we'll be looking at language of what is in the newspaper. The purpose, it is usually to inform you, so it is providing news and useful information to the readers. Other purpose of newspapers are to educate. Sometimes it's there you have different articles in the paper that educates you. You have your entertainment, you have advertisement where they advertise their products. It is acting as a watchdog for society, allow public to express views, to reflect society, to act as a government mouthpiece, and to make a profit the owners. So usually from acting as a watchdog or acting as a watchdog for society to reflecting society, this will come under, in the paper, the letters to the editor. The mode is always written, and the tone. Now, always know that language of newspaper reporting are factual. So they are very objective and neutral. They are not subjective. There's no ambiguity. The articles may be partially subjective or biased. Now, some are partially. In order to write balanced and neutral reports, reporters or journalists must always be having compressed information into a given or particular space. So it has to be concise or very precise, and it needs to be clear. Moving on. The differences between reports and articles. Newspaper report, they are factual, formal, neutral language tone, or objective. However, newspaper article, they're mostly facts but few opinions. They're slightly informal language and tone in use of favorable or unfavorable reports. Now, linguistic features. Remember, linguistic features only deals with words. So firstly, our headline. Headline are short and perhaps catchy phrase. Sometimes the phrase is ambiguous. Now, ambiguous meaning it's not clear. So when you have the headline of a newspaper, for it says PM, no jab, no job. So when that's there, it's not clear. What do you mean no jab? What do you mean by jab? What do you mean, what jobs? Alright, so the reason why it's ambiguous or it's not clear, it is to arouse the reader's interests and to pique readers' curiosity. So that basically means it wants you to pick up its newspaper. Next linguistic feature is the byline. Specifies who has written the article. Why? For verification purposes, for specific reference in case of queries. So the byline is basically the reporter who wrote the article. So if it's by Felipe Nakaso or by Donald Clark, so whoever wrote that article, we call it the byline. Next is the use of subheadings in longer articles, example feature articles. Why? It is there to divide, split relevant information accordingly. Okay, lead in. Lead in is the summary of main points in the items, and that is always, you can take note, it is the first paragraph. The first paragraph of the article is what you call by lead in. Alright guys, so the lead in is always the first paragraph. Alright, so that's what you call a summary of main points in the items. So why? It saves the reader time or even for attention. Alright, okay, next one we have the information written in inverted pyramid. So we know the shape of a pyramid, it's the shape of a triangle. But when you have it inverted, meaning it's upside down. So what that means, the most important information comes first and then the least important comes after. Okay, next you have the frequent uses in inverted commas, or direct quotations. Then you have use of dashes to mark parallelism and for greater independence. Then you have a variety of sentences from simple to complex sentences. Now simple, it's for easier understanding. Compound, to add additional information. Complex, for clarification. Next is your adverbials of time, place, manner are common. Reason for accurate reporting or for specificity. Alright, moving on. Number 10, use of stock phrase. Example, according to, he said. Now, another way to identify a stock phrase is the opposite of direct quotation. It is a reported speech. So if the sentence starts with he said or according to, then it is known as a stock phrase. And why we have a stock phrase is for specific reference in case of queries. Last linguistic feature is the use of acronyms. Example, USP, which is the long form for University of the South Pacific. Why? Why do you have a lot of acronyms in newspaper articles? Basically, it is to save space, right? So after you've read through that and after my explanation, I want you to go to your nearest paper, or if you have a paper in the house, and just refer to some of the features then identify from there. Next, we're looking at non-linguistic features. Your first one you have is the bold or capitalized headline. Why? It is to grab attention of the readers. The picture. Some articles comes with picture and a caption. Caption is the short description of what is in the picture. Okay, so the purpose is add interest to the article or visual representation for better understanding. So if you're talking about the recent vaccine, how there are so many going for vaccination, when people just hear about it, they won't really believe unless there is picture evidence. So when there's a picture, it basically makes people better understand. Okay, third one is many sentence paragraphs. In language of newspaper reporting, we do not write in large paragraphs where there is 4 to 5 sentences in one paragraph. They are in one sentence. The reason why is because it is to save space and it allows easy reading for you, the reader, to read through. Next is columns. Okay, while you are looking at that, I want you to see this sample. So, looking at the first paragraph, good news for the people of Ovalau, PAFCO will not be moved to Suva as proposed earlier for commercial reasons. That is one sentence and it is also one paragraph. And then this is what you call by one sentence paragraph, and this is also column. The paper is always presented to you like this, in columns, not in rows but in columns. So your paragraphs goes down and then starts again from the top going down, all right, and it continues from there. So that's what you mean by column layout. So it's therefore easy readability and also to save space. And then lastly you have your source. So where is the paper from? The example is from the Fiji Sun, February 2013, and that is for verification purposes. All right, thank you. Please take note of the discussion, and you can attempt the question from the worksheets. Thank you.